I think this was the most interesting article. Our last article is about, oh, get ready, because like strap in for this one. It's about molecules in saliva. And that apparently for kiddos that are on the autism spectrum, they can find specific RNA molecules. Now, we've been hearing a lot about RNA. So let me just say this, RNA is not DNA. That's a really important distinction. DNA is those 2 strands of chromosome and RNA is 1 strand. And they apparently do not interact with each other. And here's the other thing that I know from research this morning is that DNA is alkaline stable and RNA is not.
What does that mean, alkaline stable?
Well, I'm not 100% sure, but I will say that what I understand from it is that when they took saliva samples from kiddos who were not on the spectrum and kiddos that were on the spectrum, they found different RNA, like across the board, which is significant, right?
Right.
But then they tested the kids over time, and here's the magic trick. This is like biological, right? That there is a difference in the saliva and there's an RNA present for the kids on the spectrum that is not there for kids not on the spectrum, which is interesting. But then they gave intensive behavioral intervention to some of the kids on the spectrum and retested their saliva. And for the kids who got the ABA, their saliva, we're talking about a behavioral intervention, and their saliva was different and was more like the kiddos who weren't on the spectrum, that RNA was either not as present or not present.
Right. So very encouraging results for in terms of ABA therapy, intensive early ABA therapy, because we're seeing the difference physiologically.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, you know, there have been a lot of studies that have wanted to look at, here's what the brain looks like and here's how it lights up. And then we teach the brain something and it lights up different. Like, I think we understand that. And that ABA, you have ABA and your brain lights up differently in different ways because you've learned. Just like if we taught you skiing, your brain would light up in a different way because it's your brain, right? But saliva, doing something behaviorally to learn something changes RNA in your saliva. This is fascinating to me. And I want to understand, because that seems like a magic trick to me, and I want to know more about it. But they're saying that it could be a predictor of kids making progress, which could help to get insurance to continue funding ABA. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing. But I just want to say that this article, oddly enough, we found in Yahoo Finance.
I know, that's an odd place for it.
Well, ask yourself why it would be in finance. Because ABA and insurance is this ginormous financial situation.
Right.
That is costing insurance a lot, costing parents a lot. And if this can move that dial, it's of interest to people in the financial world. I also want to say that the study is coming out from researchers in SUNY Upstate Medical University, Penn State Medical University, and Quadrant Biosciences.